Hello, welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage, on what was a beautiful Saturday in the state of Maine. The sun was out, start to finish. My chair's still squeaking. The skies are blue, temperature in the mid to high 70s. Spectacular. Still is. It's a wonderful evening. I was just carrying some of this week's purchases down to the shop. And a request earlier in the week to talk about my strategies for having parts in stock. And that's actually a kind of a fun subject. I spent a lot of time shopping and buying. There's frustrations, so let's just go for it. My last real job, I was a technician for most of my life, but the last 3 or 4 years I ran a parts department all by myself, a big parts department. It taught me a few things, strategies, buying in bulk, stuff like that, because my main goal was to, the whole idea was to save money. So that I did. So when I went out on my own, some of these things I was already doing, but it made me rethink some of my processes. I still buy in bulk. It's always cheaper, especially, if you take pre-COVID prices compared to what we're paying for things now. That's going to get mentioned a couple times. I wish a few years ago I had stocked up on more stuff, because as I replace it today, it just costs me more money, and I'm shopping the heck out of it. I set up accounts locally with all the auto parts stores that I was already doing business with the whole time. So when I went out on my own, I set up accounts. I typically now am down to only dealing with one of them. My friends work there, 2 brothers in different stores, and it's just nice to have a friendly voice on the end of the phone that doesn't, they're both excellent parts people, and any question, they're a text away, and they deliver here. So when I can and have the need, even though it's going to cost more sometimes, I still use them. I'm staring at 6 cases of brake parts cleaner that were dropped off this morning on Saturday. Actually, I ordered them yesterday afternoon. They had 2 in the store that they sent. And this morning they sent 4 more on a Saturday morning. I've gotten parts on late Saturday afternoon. They still deliver. That's pretty good because I'm out in the woods. And I have shopped for brake parts cleaner online, and I've yet to beat the price I'm paying by the case. So I will continue to use it. 6 cases, that's still $212, I believe, or more. And I use it a lot. I could find more efficient ways to clean parts, but it is, time-wise, you can't beat it. It's just a crutch. I got 3 half-empty cans sitting here on the bench. It's something I reach for all the time. So up to the point where I decide I need to do something different. I know you can buy the non-aerosol liquid and put it in pump sprayers. That's a possibility I might not want to look into, but as late as today, I still splurge and pay $2.99 a can. That's still cheaper than I found online anywhere, but I've only moderately shopped for it. I wouldn't say I've actually shopped the heck out of that. The opening picture is another bulk purchase. Everything I'm talking about has happened this week. I hauled a tractor, my brother's new tractor, a week ago Friday. I have 4 axle straps that are fairly new, but my tie downs for my trailer, 2 of the 4 that I use all the time, and I still have my original 4 that I bought in 1983. I had borrowed a trailer. I wanted to go drag racing, 83, 84, I forget. So I bought online, had to mail money away. I saw the ad in National Dragster, and I sent whatever it was away, probably what I'm paying today. And I'm assuming that back then they're at least hopefully American made. All I can tell you is they've lasted this long. I've been really careful when I tie stuff up that they don't rub. as I was strapping his tractor down a week ago Friday, I knew it was close. There's a couple of brackets on the arms for the front loader. I don't think it touched, but as I was tightening them down, I was thinking that, one, I'd had them a long, long time. This is a really expensive piece of equipment I'm tying down. Maybe it's time to rethink getting some new ones. And as luck would have it, I hit a bump. Like, we were like an hour away from his house. 1 or 2 minutes away from his house, I went over quite a bump. When we got to his house, one of the front straps had failed. Nothing happened. I wasn't overly distraught about it. Again, I got my money's worth out of it. I have hauled every valuable piece on my race cars, every race car I've had, every Chevy truck I've dragged home, every one of them. That's my method of tying them down. Could I use a chain like on a tractor? Yes, this was a brand new tractor. There is no good place to wrap a chain around it without making, you're gonna do damage. And if you think about it, that tractor was, let's call it 4,000 pounds. I would think nothing of strapping down a 5,000 or 6,000 pound Chevy truck on my trailer with 4 axle straps and 4 tie downs that are rated at 3,300 pounds a piece. That's a braking. I'll read the tag on the thing. They're rated for like 11 or 12,000 or 10,000 a piece, but their actual braking strength, or however they factor that in, is like 3,300 each. So, you know, and the law says if you should follow, you have to follow. If you get pulled over by the police, they're going to explain it to you. You need 4 points of contact for tie down, not 1 strap wrapped over each axle. You need 4 tie downs for a vehicle. So, and I believe that's nationwide, but your results may vary. So that night, a week ago, Friday or Saturday, whenever I remembered I need to buy some axle straps, I was just gonna buy, they got them listed by the pair. I'm online, Amazon, eBay, all the popular spots, which those are my 2 favorites. If you can't find it on there, you're probably not gonna find it. And they were averaged around 25 bucks a set. And what I like about online shopping, options that aren't available to you when you walk into a store, there's a price on it, that's what you're gonna pay. When you go online, you have thousands of retailers wanting to sell their product. You have to be really careful. It's a slippery slope, but you have a choice to sort what you're looking at. Instinct, most people go low to high. You want to look at all the cheap stuff first. I do just the opposite. Here's tip number or whatever. I start high to low. I want to look at bulk quantities, and those are going to be high priced. So in the case of tie downs, I could spend $25 a pair, or I could buy 12 for $80. The same strap, same company selling it and everything. Still free shipping. Which would you do? I was going to buy 2 sets. I would have spent $80 for 4. And I got 12 for the same money. So you can't beat that. I'm making sure I just said that right. They were $25 a set. I got to look it up now. $25 a pair. So it's 2 straps. So I would have spent 50 bucks for 4 straps that I need. I bought 12 for $80. I hope I got it right that time. But I'll double check my math. And if I'm wrong, I'll come on and correct it. Axle straps, I have 6 or 8 sets now. But while I was shopping, there they were right in front of me. And they come in different lengths. I like the longer ones, at least 24 inches long. I use them for everything. There's a crane right next to the camera. I wrap it around this transmission holder, grab it with the hook. I lift with them all the time. I'm using them for lots of things around the shop, so I figured it wouldn't hurt. And again, bulk shopping, I was able to buy 16 of those. They came in a package of 16, and again, it was like $69 to $70, or I could spend $20, $25 a pair. Same deal, just buy in bulk, save money. Midweek, I mounted a set of tires on a new set of wheels for my buddy Charlie, and I used my last 2 bolt-in valve stems. If you're racing in any type of racing, any sanctioned body is going to require you to have bolt-in valve stems, not the pop-in rubber kind that, is the cheapest option. And if you've ever been, say, washing your car on a frigid Saturday night and broke the pop-in valve stem off, you'll wish then you had bolt-in valve stems as well. Well, I used my last two. Last time I bought them in bulk, but not a huge amount, maybe a dozen. That's really not what I would consider bulk. Looking at the prices now, same deal. I could spend packages of 4, packages of a dozen. I bought a package of 90, and that'll get me through. That's 90 wheels. It'll probably take a while. I don't mount that many wheels and tires. But my money went a long ways. Instead of spending a couple dollars a piece, ended up spending 62 cents a piece, something like that. It wasn't bad. Do a little math, and I'll sit on them for a while, but again, prices are going skyrocketing on everything, so it's just like putting money in the bank. Not really. Spray paint. I go through quite a bit of spray paint. Your average spray paint, $5 or $6 a can. I don't go to Walmart very often. Early in the week, midweek, I went to Lowe's, and they have a house brand paint, and that's $5 and something a can. That was the cheapest option. They price the Krylon and the Rust-Oleum a couple bucks more than theirs. They wanted $7 a can, 12-ounce can, we're talking flat black or gloss black. Tonight, I found myself at Walmart, and I bought 12 cans of their house brand gloss black. Now, I used to buy that. I restored a truck with that stuff, and it's probably still gloss black. There's nothing wrong with it. It used to be like 80 or 90 cents a can. It's now $2.48 a can when I bought it tonight, but still, for general purpose stuff, I wouldn't paint a car with it, or would I? I still buy good paint for other things. My favorite is, traditional Rust-Oleum paint is great if you have a whole day for it to dry. It's probably a better quality and gonna last longer, but average run-of-the-mill stuff, this is the Rust-Oleum paint and primer mixed together, $5 or $6 a can. It does a good job, dries fast, which is really important to me. And this Walmart stuff, I'll use it for, when I make brackets and you name it. It's, two cans for the price of one. That's money well spent. Same, it's 12 ounces. If you weigh the cans, they feel the same. It's not like they don't have enough solids in them. It's not the world's greatest spray paint. And the Lowe's house brand stuff, the first time I ever tried that, it was actually pretty good quality. It went on with confidence. It was thick, but it laid down to a nice shine. Almost no chance of making a run with it, which I like that. But I'm always reaching, two things I'm always reaching for: brake clean and spray paint. Because when you're working on stuff and building stuff and you don't want it to rust, you got to paint it afterwards. So that's what I did. I have a Matco 6-inch vise. I think it's technically, they call it a 6-inch, I think, but it's actually 6 1/4 wide. It's a nice vise. It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't swivel. It does have a pipe vise down below. I have others that swivel, so you can move your work up top. But a while back, I struck it with a hammer and broke the jaw. It's a casting. I could have attempted to weld it maybe, but as I took the other jar off, it's already starting to crack. My buddy still has a Matco guy that visits him where he works. Long story short, this is like $89 plus shipping, plus you gotta wait. So we'll call this a non-purchase, kind of. I spent 15 to 20 minutes the other day, just took some, flat bar. This is stainless, but I use magnetic steel. I made them a little bit wider. They're completely smooth. And two things came to mind. These, they have serrations on them, but do I need them? Because my machine vise, they're perfectly smooth. The Kurt vices on the mill, which grab things really well, are completely smooth. And because I use magnetic steel, I did splurge for $20 for magnetic stick-on jaws that actually stick onto the metal I put on the vise if I need something softer or serrations to hold something. So they're not here yet. It was still a purchase, but again, a non-purchase. I couldn't see putting 90 bucks into this vise when I could build something in just a few minutes. Sometimes it's impulse purchases. The other night I'm online looking for those little felts that go on the MIG wire before the feed motor. It just, as your roll of wire sits in your welder, it starts to rust and collects dust. This wipes and lubricates the wire as it goes out through your cord for your wand, preventing it from being sticky down the road. And I saw this rig. Somebody with their home plasma table was ingenious enough to think of this. This goes over your torch bottle, and you can hang the cords on it. Now, I painted this. This didn't come painted. It was raw steel. Somebody did an awesome job cutting it. Obviously a plasma cutter, but there's nothing to grind. They have their plasma table set up perfect. So they put a notch on it so you can go over the valve and set it down. You don't have to disconnect anything, and you can hang your cords on it. So I popped it out of the package, immediately painted it, and then afterwards I thought, I wonder if I was supposed to weld everything up first, but I don't think anything can fall off. But I'll report back. But I thought that was a pretty neat deal. Again, I'm not sure I should have welded it first. It didn't come with any instructions, but earlier in the week when I set up that Lincoln Pro MIG 140, and I found out that it actually worked and was going to be hopefully a good unit, I went ahead and called up my welding supply place and ordered another big bottle of 75-25 argon CO2 mix. And they delivered to my house on Thursday, so the big truck backs in. And I just was shooting the breeze with the driver, the same driver that was nice enough to take the bottle of CO2 that I had sitting here full, been sitting here for 8 or 10 years, and he was going to dispose of it for me. Well, since that day, I thought of all kinds of things I should have been trying to do with it. I could fill my small bottle for my race car, my 5-pound bottle, you can get a transfer hose. This Lincoln Pro MIG 140 has CO2 settings. You actually turn the heat down to run the CO2. It must burn hotter, I guess. So I'm just curious to try it, and still kicking myself for getting rid of it. I just tell the guys that I've been mad at myself since I gave you that bottle. He says, well, you're in luck. My boss said that's not ours and it's in the way. Now what are we going to do with it? So next week, he's going to drop it back off, I hope. That was the plan when he left. So I will stop complaining, but sometimes I'm mad at myself for not thinking things through. He backed in, I saw that thing, I'm like, let's see if I can get rid of this bottle, because I'm tired of looking at it. And then I thought of all the things I could have done with it afterwards. So maybe we'll get to try that out. So there is no need to weld it. They can't escape. It just sits over the bottle. For 27 years, I've hung everything between the regulator and the bottle. I put a hat over this when it's sitting here, but to protect my regulator. But that is a problem solver. It was $24 on eBay. And the last thing, shopping-wise, that I like to do, when I have time, I will search, like for instance, Speedway or Jags or Summit. They all have a garage sale section. And I will look for markdown stuff that I'm going to need for future projects. This is dangerous because projects come and go, and sometimes you end up with stuff you might sell, but if you get a good deal on something, it's worth it. So this morning, had a little time to kill. I was online shopping, and I have two 8.8 Fords outside, Explorer 8.8 Fords. And if you're familiar with that platform, let me get this straight. The left side axle is longer than the right side axle. if you shorten the left side 2 7/8, the tube, you can put 2 right side axles in it, and that puts it in the 59 to 60 inch range that fits most every vehicle on the road. But you need 2 right side axles. I found a Yukon in the whatever years the 8/8s were made, 94 and up or whatever, 31 spline, 5 on 4.5 bolt pattern. Is a Yukon axle, right side, Explorer rear end, 8/8 for $47. So whether I'll find another one and put a pair of Yukons in it, that would make sense. I haven't seen it yet to see if it's just a replacement axle or if it's, it's high performance axle. But it's $47. And I have 2 of those rear ends and I was going to shorten them anyway. So again, that's something I wasn't looking for, but I couldn't pass it up. And that happens all the time. If I can find something that's a really good deal, a stupid deal, I'll go ahead and buy it because it's only going to get more expensive. And someday when I'm paying full price for it, I say, wow, I wish I could have found these cheaper. So that's enough of me babbling. Give it a try. Again, use the search function and the sorting function to help you pay what you consider the best price. One more thing I should mention, a lot of the sites like Amazon, when you put it in your cart and even pretend to check out, don't actually push the button, bottom of the screen, you're going to see a lot of items very similar to what you bought, sometimes for less money. eBay too. They'll just, their algorithm finds everything just like you just paid for. And I hate when I push the button and buy it, and then on the bottom of my page is the same item, less money. So I try to do that several times just to make sure I found the best deal. Because you got to be careful. A lot of times, the price per unit of whatever you're looking at will be cheap, and then if you don't look careful, there's $1,000 shipping and something stupid on it. They'll do that for the imported fenders and stuff like that. They'll show you a fender for $50 and it's $1,000 shipping. You got to be careful. So I always make sure there's free shipping, unless it's a really good deal. I almost forgot. I rebuild a lot of 9/8 Fords. Typically always put a billet or a forged yoke on it. They're about $80 to $100 a piece. Many times, if I'm building something for a hot rod, I'm still going to run a 1350 yoke, typically 28 spline, the small ring and pinion. That's what NASCAR uses, but they use, or did anyway, I don't know what they run for a center section now. Now they have a new car, but the 9/8 Ford was their mainstay forever, and they used a very nice looking cast yoke. It has 2 steps on it, one for a pulley to drive an alternator or whatever back there. I found a bunch of them out of North Carolina. The stock car stuff is usually really reasonably priced if you shop for it enough. So, long story short, I bought the first 4 yokes for $20 a piece. The shipping was $40, and took a week and a half, UPS. But I can't drive to North Carolina for that, and it's a $20 yoke. So 40 divided by 4 added on the yoke, that's still a well-bought yoke. So I bought 4 of them. As soon as they got here, I looked at them, thought about how many rear ends I build that don't need the billet or forged yoke. A lot of them do, and it doesn't hurt, but I just soon put the $20 yoke on a lot of this stuff. Street stuff, hey, it's good enough for NASCAR, At a certain point, you need the billet or the forged if you're drag racing with slicks, but if you're just, building a street car, it's still a 1350 yoke. I have confidence it'll be just fine for its intended application, so I wanted to buy 4 more. From the time I bought them, now they were $25 a piece. They must have got pretty popular. The shipping was the same, but I did the same math again and ended up spending $20 more for 4 more yokes, so $5 a piece extra. But now I get 8 of the cast NASCAR yokes, brand new. That should last me a while for building street rear ends. So I won't babble or take up any more of your time. Thanks for watching. Just hit 7,000 subscribers. Boy, I got to tell you, I noticed it midweek that it was probably happened this week. And I got to like 69.96 and it sat there. One a day, and then YouTube took one back. I don't know why, however they correct themselves. So somebody didn't like my stuff and canceled. Who knows? But I finally made 7,000. Woo! Man, it's taken a long time. Some channels just skyrocket. I'm only semi-interested, so thank you for the loyal followers that watch. If you're watching for the first time or happen to like the stuff, subscriptions, like Rat Rod Bob says, they're free all week. All you do is click the button. Have a nice night. Take her easy.